lens cap on. 1 second. I'm done. Right, hello, welcome to another episode of Diary of a Car Trader. Now today, well, let's set the scene a little bit. I'm currently at Newport Pagnell Services. I've just stopped for a Starbucks, flat white with soya milk, if anyone ever wants to buy me a coffee. Yeah, and I actually stopped here about an hour ago, and I've just been on the phone the whole time. Now, I'm trying to be a car trader, a YouTuber, I'm trying to do clothing brands. I've got some other exciting stuff coming that's going to be good for the channel as well soon. So I've got so much going on at the minute. It's all exciting stuff, it's just hard squeezing everything in, you know, filming, editing, it's unbelievable. Anyway, you don't care about none of that. So yeah, I'm currently at Newport Pagnell Services. Today, my priority is getting my car, the Golf R, to VRS in Northampton, because Will has said, Calv, get it to me. So at this point, I haven't actually raced Ricky yet. And Will's kind of took it all quite personal and he wants to try and squeeze a bit more mid-range power out of the car. So so it's going back there today. He's just going to experiment with a few things. I'm leaving the car with him and I'm going to go pick it up next week. But he said to me that I can drop it off and he's got a car there. He said it's a 4Motion. I think it's an R32. At this point I don't actually know exactly what car it is. So I'm going to hit the road, go to VRS and see what car he's got to lend me for the next week of my life whilst he's tuning the Golf R. Right, let's show you this courtesy car. Courtesy car, isn't it? Golf R32. Now there is a little bit of a catch with this car, and I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll get my cameras on, I'll get on the road, because I noticed on the way up here the traffic was bad going back, so I just need to go hit the road, join that traffic, and I'll tell you a bit more about this car, yeah? Right, we're on the M1. It's funny, I used to come to Northampton a lot because when I started car trading, me and Leon used to buy a lot of cars from Northampton auction, and those regular trips to Northampton, you know, you'd buy one there and you'd maybe take it, drop one home, and then the next morning we'd back up to go and pick up any others that we'd buy, and it was just trips up and down the M1 all the time. So it's quite a familiar, I wouldn't say the whole of Northampton's a familiar place, but doing this journey is a very familiar journey for me. So yeah, the R32 that you're probably wondering, well, what's the difference between this R32 and any other R32 on the road? And the difference with this car compared to anything else on the road, any other one, is this is a replica. This isn't actually a real R32, and that is very deflating for a lot of people. But it is a very good replica, as in it's got the seats, it's got I don't know if the actual R32 seats have got R32 stamped in them, but it's got the Recaro buckets, I say buckets but nicer looking seats, and the Mark IVs have got like the headrest sunk into the seat, which looks really cool. It's got the steering wheel, which is a very nice steering wheel, the dials, the body kit, you know, externally it looks exactly the same. It's got the wheels, it's got a V6 engine, but it hasn't got the R32 engine. That's the it's got a 2.8 4Motion, so it's 2.8 4Motion. 4Motion isn't the engine. It's a 2.8 engine, which is a V6, so it sounds quite nice. Yeah, it's got exhaust as well, so it sounds really good. But it is a 4Motion, so it's very similar setup to the R32, but it's just not a real one. And now the funny thing is, I think this is a good talking point as well. These kind of middle of the range, shall we say, sports cars, sports hatches, they're a good market. I look at this type of thing a lot because they're about the only thing you can buy in the car market. Not the only thing, but they're at a good point in time where you can buy a car like this. Make sure the mic's right, yeah. You can buy a car like this, and it's got a very noisy wheel bearing. You must be able to hear that. That's so noisy. Yeah, you can buy a car like this. We won't use this one as an example, but a genuine R32 right now, and you will not lose any money on it. And there's lots of cars in this price range that you can buy. Like, I'm currently trying to buy an Edition 30 Golf. They're a really good car to buy. Again, I know they're a little bit newer than this, but you can kind of buy special cars. Astra VXR Nürburgrings, I look at them often. Early Audi S3s, like an 09, that sort of year. There's certain cars you can just buy, and some of them might depreciate a tiny bit, and they're all cars that you and I are all interested in, yeah, that's very important. But they won't depreciate a lot at all. And I think if you're in the market to buy a bit of a toy, that's something, I know you're not stupid, and a lot of you do know that anyway, but it's something to consider. You want to be able to buy something, keep it for a period of time, have some fun in it, and not really do any money on it. That's important, isn't it? So that's basically how I got into the car trade. You know, I was drawn to stuff that was safe bets to place my money, because I like that type of car, luckily, and I made money on them. You know, it's quite easy, really. But yeah, it's quite interesting that I got into the driver's seat of this today, because this is a car that I look at often. Now, if you look at R32 Golfs online, you'll notice that this era, this year, this age with the Mark IVs, they are slowly creeping up in value. And in fact, I think if you was to buy a bottom of the range Mark V or a bottom of the range Mark IV, I think the Mark IV will be more money, which is crazy really, because it's an older car. But that is the reality of the car trade, you know. So I think they're a very good choice of car. The Mark Vs are definitely not my preference. The Mark Vs have got the same 3.2 250 brake horsepower V6 engine as the Mark IVs, and I think that's a little bit disappointing. Like, why would you, like, if you was about in when were these around, sort of 02, 03 or whatever, and you wanted to buy the new Mark V Golf R32, if you owned a Mark IV, what would have been your motive? What would have been your incentive to sell your old Mark IV and buy a Mark V? You're getting the same bloody performance, you get the same power. I think that's a bit crazy, a little bit disappointing. I remember when Honda's done that with the Civic Type R, they introduced the FN2, and the FN2 had the same engine. It had about 2 more brake horsepower, something ridiculous. A little bit disappointing. The FN2 was a great car, don't get me wrong, but you know, the heart of any car is what's under the bonnet. So and I think that is what makes these Mark IVs really special, is they introduced the 3.2 6-cylinder engine in whatever year it was, I don't know exactly, around 2002, and it was kind of like the first 3.2 V6 engine in the Golf R range. In fact, Golf R, R32, it was actually the first R32. But bear in mind as well that this sprouted from the earlier car. The Mark III was a car that I also had. They done the VR6. Again, bloody cool car. They're slowly creeping up in value. For some strange reason, they're not hugely valuable. I think they should be a higher value than they are, but I think they're also a very good car to buy. And after that, the Mark VI, they introduced a turbocharged engine, which is so needed, because I know this ain't a 3.2, but low end power is really, really dull. So yeah, just a little bit of thought on the car trade there, really. I suppose, like I say, I was in Northampton, I thought about the Northampton car auction. Don't go there anymore. I'll do videos in the future about how I trade and how I buy cars and stuff like that. I'm sure a lot of you get the gist. We've got the company, the car buying shop, but like I say, I'm not going to go into too much detail there. I think my reason for filming today was, you know, I was doing a journey to a VRS in Northampton, and taking the Golf R there, getting a few bits done on it. I won't say loads more about that right now, because I'd rather save that for a video possibly next week when I collect the car, because then I can give you as much information as I possibly know, because it will all be done by then. So when I collect the car, I'll do another video then. But I just wanted to do a video because I was on the road. I thought I'll grab my cameras and talk. I think a quick bit of information on VRS, that's a good talking point. So Will at VRS, I talk about him a lot. Obviously I've been there a lot in videos previously, and I talk very highly of him, and the reason why I do, and I promise you there's no money between me and him. He's not paying me to talk highly of him, all right? I will only tell you lot, and I want you to bear this in mind as well for future reference, that if I tell you something is good, or if I tell you that I think you should go to something, let's say there's a car show on, and I say these are really good car shows, I will only talk highly of something that I believe in, all right? So if I'm not here for money, man. Like I go to work for money, right? And I earn decent money at work, okay? YouTube barely pays me any bloody money in comparison, all right? So don't think that when I say to you, oh, like VRS in Northampton, for example, I'm saying to you go there. Will couldn't give me any amount of money to make me want to tell you lot that I think he's great. I'm telling you that I think he's great because, let's ignore that, because I genuinely think he's a decent guy, he does a bloody good job, he's very passionate about what he does, and I've got a lot of faith in him. And I don't know him in detail, in depth at all really. I've met him a few times, but I just get a real good feeling about him. So if you are looking to get your car tuned, no marketing here involved, this is not an ad. If you've got a VW and you live sort of in and around Northampton, I honestly think you'd be silly not to give him a shot, because like I say, I'm quite particular. I'm very particular with people more than I am anything else. I like certain types of people, and he's a decent guy, all right? So yeah, I just wanted to sort of throw that in. It deals with some amazing cars. Like you see some of the cars you've seen in previous videos, that he does deal with some serious stuff, and he'll take anything on as well. He's not scared. He will take a lot of stuff on. So yeah, there's my little plug for VRS in Northampton. Well deserved shout out to them, all right? But what's the conclusion of this video? I think a good way to conclude it is I got a car that a lot of people will look at this and think, oh, it's a replica. It's rubbish. We won't swear, yeah? It's rubbish. No, it's not rubbish. The reason why this car was built, whoever made this car, done it because it served a good purpose for them, yeah? They done it for their own reasons. Like, it's got heated seats. They should probably do work. I'm not going to put them on because I'm boiling hot. But it's a cool car, isn't it? It's a cool car. An R32 right now will cost you about £6,000. This has done 113,000 miles. So it'd be about that. This car is worth, I don't know, 1,500 quid. And I must admit, I didn't know until Will told me that it was not a genuine car. Like, to look at it looks like a genuine one. To listen to it almost sounds like a genuine one. And interior wise, it's like a genuine car. So I always say it with the car trade, it's all price dependent, yeah? So many people in my videos say, oh, why did you buy that for, and what's that all about, why didn't you do that, or why did you do that? Everything is relevant to the value of the item, yeah? So if, like, I would genuinely, if someone offered me this car today, I would buy it with intentions of trying to earn money on it, because I believe there is a place on the road in someone's life for a car like this. And I think, and I'm giving this advice, and I'm talking about this because I know a lot of people are wanting to be car traders. They want to get into the car trade, they want advice on what to buy, and I think you really need to understand that there is a certain amount of demand for almost everything, and demand is the key point with whatever you're buying. Demand, that is it, okay? And this car at £6,000 next to another R32 has zero demand. It will never sell, okay? But at sort of 1,000 or 1,500, I don't know what its value is, but around that price point, of course it's got demand. And if you're about to buy it, keep that in mind. It's got to be priced sensibly in order to have demand. But don't let the fact that it's a replica, or it's done high mileage, or it's got needs body work or whatever, don't let that put you off buying it, alright? I don't really know what this video is about, but I think the summary is R32s are cool, cars of this nature are cool. When I say that, I mean middle of the range, middle price sports cars. And secondly, what a cool courtesy car. I'm not saying that if anyone takes their car to VRS in Northampton and drops it there, they're going to get this as a courtesy car. I am quite friendly with Will, so maybe he's just being quite generous from that point of view. But yeah, I'm very grateful. I'm now on my journey home. Traffic isn't horrendous, but the wheel bearing is horrendous. It's fucking noisy. But look out for future videos. So to let you know, I've got a few good things coming up, things that you're going to be probably excited about, stuff that you guys have asked for, so I've got that coming as well. I'm not going to give too much away right now. We've got stuff happening with the Golf R, again, not saying too much about that, and I've just generally got a lot of good plans for the near future, alright? So actually, hold on, before you go, I want to know if I've got any car traders watching right now. I had a bit of a stressful morning this morning. Like with the car trade, there's a lot against you, trust me. And I've said about it a lot. There is a lot of things that suppress you as a trader. Now, if you're a car trader and there's anything that really bugs you in the trade, let it be, I don't know, customers or the VAT side of things, advertising like Auto Trader, eBay, the cost of things, storage. You know, if you're in London, storage is going to be a massive thing. I don't know, let's get some, maybe if there is some car traders. I know I've got a lot of non-traders in my following, but I had a stressful morning this morning, man. I'm just curious to know what other car traders have in a way of stresses in their daily life. So yeah, so thanks for watching. Scripted ending now. If you like the video, hit like. If you're new, hit subscribe. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give me a follow at Calvin's Car Diary, and all the links for anything I mentioned in the video today, i.e. VRS, if I mentioned NAFFCO54, that'll be in the description as well. Anything that I mentioned will be in the description below, alright? See you in the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, I'll go back to VRS to collect the Golf R.